calling Malik. Malik's like, I don't know what to do. Call Alexis. I call Alexis. She's like, I don't know what to do. So I ended up calling NDSU police.
And then we went from there, and I had no clue what I was doing, but
It was cool seeing people create stuff.
Either be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond. And at NDSU, the three of us were the big fish on campus. So the reason that I did my semester exchange was because I love North Dakota. NDSU's always been a big part of our life, and I knew that they had a good journalism program. So that's kind of why I started BIN. We brought the news show back, and those were my friends, like because it was online classes, I didn't meet anyone. So I had Mariah, Malik, and Coy.
I joined BIN kind of just to get the experience, just get my feet wet, right? It's like COM 110, and they list off all the organizations you can be a part of. And once I saw BIN, I'm like, okay, that's what I want to do. Hooked up with Alex and Coy, and then it just took off ever since. We just never stopped with anything, like with content, packages, or whatever the case may be.
yeah, the reason I joined BIN, so I went to school for precision agriculture, but I've always been interested in like video production and stuff. But I remembered seeing like a camera set up at an involvement expo. And then I remember that being BIN. Alex came the next semester, and then her and Malik started up Bison Overtime. And then that's when they asked me to be a part of it. And then that's what really got me involved in BIN.
My title is the Director of Marketing and Sponsorship Activation with the Florence Flamingos. We are a summer collegiate baseball team in the Coastal Plains League, which is similar to the Northwoods League.
Yeah, so me, I'm at Livebar. I'm an event specialist there, and Livebar is an event company so we put on like concerts, galas, fundraisers, like corporate events and stuff, and like so basically anything that requires live production, we're there. And then I do the video side of things too, so for streaming, and then whatever goes on the screens, that's all me.
Going after you right now, and I got one more year. Got into GDP actually, so it's kind of like NDSU athletics and do play-by-play and sideline reporting and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
So I show up, and like BIN was like donezo. Like there was no content at all. And I walk in, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't gonna happen. And we're like introducing ourselves around the room. And Malik's like, I want to do sports. So he leaves, and I book it to Malik. I'm like, let's do a sports show. We came up with the idea. We got Coy and Jeff involved, and Jeff's like, sure, here you go. And we did it. That's literally how it started.
I knew I wanted to. Prior to that meeting, I had told, what was it, Allie during that time. She was the BIN general manager, and I told her I wanted to do a little something, but I had no idea how to start it. And I'm glad Alex came to that meeting, because we're two driven individuals that wanted to do something, make content, like she said, because at that time, COVID had really impacted BIN, and they weren't doing anything. So not only were we trying to get that off the ground, we're also trying to get the newscast stuff off the ground too. So
that's kind of how we just kept doing stuff. We did the newscast. It was bad. Like the first couple of newscasts we did were not good, but we just did it because that's how we got better. And we knew that not many people were watching. I would send it to people from Oklahoma State, and Joe and Jeff would give us feedback. But we knew that we were doing it for us, and that's how we got better.
What Alex was saying about like doing it for yourself or whatever, there was like a lot of the stories I did, like, I don't know if anyone else cared, but there was something that like interested me. So there was like a dairy cow they buried on campus. And I'm just like, that's so random. That seems like a cool thing though. So yeah, just find things that like you're interested in, and then just go do a thing about that.
I would say what definitely helped the shows, whether it's bot or it's BIN, you really have to be out there and be active. You have to really like check your emails and see what events are coming up and catch them. And some of those will be long nights, right? Editing and even doing graphics for a bot, those can take a while. So I'd say really being active, and you can't be lazy, right? So that's, like I said, staying up, going out to shoot when you don't feel like it, when you got a paper that's due on Thursday, you got to, stuff like that. You just got to keep on going. And I feel like the views will come, right? Because I feel like people look at your content, how good it is, and they'll come. They'll come. You gotta look good, man. You gotta look good. Keep going. I mean, keep going to games, getting content, keep making graphics. Just keep it going, because I mean, it's up to you guys. I mean, we created it and we left it for you guys. So just keep going. Don't let it die.
Just to be bold and not be afraid to get what you want. I know that kind of sounds like a little bossy, but I don't mean it like that. the way that you learn to speak to people and the social media aspect, and even just being a reporter translates so easily. I realized like how ahead grammatically or just in speaking I am, rather than a lot of the peers that never did public speaking or speech or sports reporting or anything, just because I'm not afraid to get in front of a camera, or talk in front of a group of people.
Say for me, the communication part, but also the connections part, right? So when you're doing Ben and a part of NDSU athletics, and you're communicating with a lot of different people, not just like the people that you're working with, but also get in touch with, like, you're going to get stories and people, stuff like that. So
I guess for me, one thing that I learned in BIN, it's a little more on the more like technical side, but working in the control room, I mean, we learned like a little bit how to use the audio board, and then I got really familiar with like the TriCaster and stuff. And then now for my job at Livewire, I'm an event specialist. So we're putting on these live events, and I'm actually like using the TriCaster that I learned about through BIN. And I was able to put that on my resume, and that's what got me an interview at Livewire and got me started there. So it really kind of kicked off my career that I'm in now.
let's say my time at Ben when I was a general manager, it was pretty fun and smooth. I mean, as you heard our stories, we came into Ben already creating stuff early on. So when I got the title, I feel like it was just a title. That's all it was. I mean, we're still doing the same things. I think the only difficult things is getting people to join and stick, right? And I think point for that, because when we would get our new people, I'm like, okay, we need to start making them do stuff. Because I notice when you get new people and they don't have anything to do, like you're not assigning things to them, they're like, well, what's the point of being a part of the program, So that was the only difficult part. But other than that, it was cool seeing people create stuff. Like Bison on the street, I always push people to do that because I like seeing people's different ideas and the funny reactions we would get from the students at NDSU.
Because there'd be times where like we couldn't talk to Coy, right? Coy
Just
couldn't talk to us.
sign
So like
language
Coy
in the
would have
window.
hand signs. I would just be like looking out the corner of my eye, be like, okay, like are we on the air? Are we off the air? The cameras were always funky. Something was wrong. Like I think I had to sit on blocks or something to eat, like Malik and I. And there'd be times like I think it was like the first episode, Malik had a piece of lint in his hair. And at the commercial break, he whipped his head. He's like, why did you not tell me about this? And I was like, okay. So I remembered before every show, I always had to look at Malik, make sure he didn't have any lint or anything wrong with his physical appearance.
Definitely, or even just going to the Summer League tournament. And I remember our last year, Boy and Dash were seniors, and just like the whole moment when you realize it and how many times you've gone, and this is the last one. The moments like I know for sure I would tear up because Dash kept reiterating, and me and Coy used to make fun of him. He always say like, "Wow, this is my last football game," or "Wow, this is my last basketball game." But when you think about all the work you put in and just the content you created and pumped out, you can get emotional just seeing these people. You're literally seeing these people every day. You really think about it at Ben and stuff like that. So yeah, but I feel that was the greatest times, and also traveling. Right, thank Coy again for using his vehicle.
It was a playoff game or whatever, spring break football, because remember football was in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And it was locked, and I like needed a camera. So like I'm calling Malik. Malik's like, I don't know what to do. Call Alexis. I call Alexis. She's like, I don't know what to do. So I ended up calling NDSU police. I was like, I have to get into the building. They let me in. They let me in, and I made it to the game on time.
One time this is like one of the early Ben newscasts, right? The teleprompter didn't work, Alex, like it just shut off. So Coy had this bright idea. Okay, let's read it off the computer. So we have the computer on the desk, right? And I'm like, I am not gonna do this. I can't not do this. And didn't Dash do he did the whole newscast.
Yeah, because I think you had to leave by that point too. And then
yeah. I was like, oh my God, man.
That was a rough show.
That was a rough show. And I think we had like 3 consecutive weeks that something would happen. Like it never failed. Like something, it would be okay an hour before, everything's working. And then when we got there, some not working.
Like I wore leggings and tennis shoes, and it's cold in North Dakota. I should have known better, but I didn't realize how bad it was going to be, and my ankles literally started to turn blue. And thank the Lord they called the game because it was so cold and snowing. I was like, Coy, if I would have been here any longer, we would have lost my ankles.
Yeah, there was definitely a few times when some of us had scared the janitor when he walked into the lab, and then we were still sitting in there and you didn't expect anyone to be there.
Yeah, joining Ben was definitely memories and stuff like that I'll never forget.
My time at NDSU was probably the best time of my college career. And this is making me so like I want to watch back the episodes with Malik. But there are so many funny memories on that show.
Yeah. Take two.
Yeah. So Coy and I have been out here fighting for our lives in the real world. And he's like, I don't know who you are. What are you talking about? And so and I was like, Coy, just do a feel-good story at the end of the day. And he was like, Buddy the Beef alone.
I joined Ben. Wait, are you done, Malik?
Wait. I'm done now, Coy.
I was actually talking to sorry.
Yeah, definitely my last year at NDSU. I feel like I was a mom. Like if when
And he was like, you can park here. And then we come back and guess who had a ticket? Me, because I listened to Malik on where we could park. I was like, man, you're using me for my car. You're not going to pay the ticket or my food. The camera, take it. Go ahead.
Right.
You know, roll herd.